Welcome back, and today we are playing out the JA37D. We have some A9Ls, we have some sky flashes, and all in all, I mean, Sweden is pretty biased, as you can tell from the thumbnail. The bias, however, is that all of Sweden is just kind of mid, and the JA37D really isn't an exception to that rule. The J37s used to be absolute top dog, just a little bit below the MLD. However, the airframe and the missile set just don't really work well when it comes to being power grabbed. This plane has been going downhill for a while now, and luckily it did go down in BR slightly, but just a mix of mediocre SL with decent maneuverability, with not the highest top speed, just kind of puts it in a place where it's not really perfect. It does everything a little bit well, but you are at 11.3 and you are fully up tier essentially every match, and you don't have real advantages. It doesn't really suffer or suck at any given thing, but it also doesn't have anything it really excels at, which is what you need to handle planes that are better than you. You need to have an advantage, or at least something you excel at, so you can at least try and bridge the gap versus planes that would otherwise just completely slam you with perhaps some pilot error or what have you. And we are flying the Viggen, a little bit of preparation to the Gripen, kind of excited for it, looks cool. I mean, I know it's not gonna be the best plane in the game. I'm probably shitting in a lot of people's cereal right now, but the Gripen is not gonna be the absolute Sigma male lone wolf ace kind of plane. It's gonna be good, but it's not gonna be the plane that's gonna shit in everyone's mouth. At least not if they add it with the necessary competition. We are expecting an F-15 and Su-27 as well, of course. But all of these are rumors, and I am not really a big fan of rumors, so I'm not gonna go on a tangent about it. We are instead gonna look at today's gameplay. We are gonna have an absolute dumpster fire of a match. 10 kill games, a little bit of a 2v6, and I mean, it was an absolute clusterfuck. I have no idea how I won that game. And it's not because the odds were stacked against me, it was 2v6, and at the end it was like 1v4 or something. It's more about the way we ended up winning, but you'll see if you actually continue watching the video. Let's talk about the Viggen real quick. It is decently maneuverable, it has a decent top speed, it has a decent missile set, it has decent acceleration, it's decent all around. The things that are kind of mid about it is gonna be the gun. The gun used to slap extremely hard, but nowadays the gun, it's kind of iffy. Half the time it just gives you a hit, it doesn't really do damage, you don't have tracers, it's positioned weirdly, it's kind of hard to aim. And overall, I'm just not a big fan of the gun. I've also never been able to get used to it. The second thing is, considering you don't have the best acceleration or the best top speed, you need to basically run full afterburner. And the full afterburner on this thing absolutely guzzles fuel. So if you want to be combat effective, essentially, you need to run half afterburner very often, but then you kind of become very heavy. It's a bit of a trade-off. You have to min-max yourself a little bit. It depends on the match. But managing your fuel in this thing together with the other resources is a bit of a skill with this plane. The main thing about this thing is resources. Fuel, energy, missiles, guns. You need to preserve everything, but not too much to the point where you are essentially useless. You just need to make sure that teammates have your back. Just like this guy does. Thank you very much for missiling my ass, but it does kind of showcase what this plane also struggles with. You can see it right now, it's missing a certain piece. And you can't really tell it in the flight performance. We are barely damaged at all, and we are just gonna go back, land and rearm, and of course win the game like we usually do, because the lack of rudder doesn't really affect us all that much. But in all seriousness, the rudder is kind of wonky, it feels kind of weird at stall speed. But I think most of you are aware of it. If you want the Viggen, you have probably grinded it by now, and it just feels kind of awkward. It feels very smooth to fly, but the second you need to get your guns on, or you need to really do any small corrections to like get your gun position properly or whatever the hell you need, you will notice that it's kind of weird. It kind of flops around. The gun sight as well, it's still a radar gun sight, it doesn't work half the time, and you'll see more of those features throughout the video, because I don't really try to use it, but sometimes I've been fat fingering my keys, I have my ACM on, I get a lock or whatever, and it's kind of annoying because, well, I've been having a bit of a purple patch. In my last Q&A, some guy asked me, what do you normally do when you reach a purple patch? What does it look like? Well, this video is gonna look like it. I'm not gonna bring my A game today. I'm not gonna be playing as well as I would like to. I'm making a lot of mistakes. I've been dying a lot to stuff that shouldn't kill me. And also just team kills and whatnot. So today's video is gonna be a little bit of a showcase of that. Now we merged with an F4S. And the FRS actually has more energy than us, but we should be able to get position early. So we are going to cut throttle a little bit to make him overshoot. And we throttle back up. He has been on the throttle all this time, so I should have the position now. And if he goes vertical, I will be on a 6. And if he goes down, I will also be on a 6. I only have a gun, however. And I just can't aim this thing. Even when I'm having a good day, so it's not an excuse to me having a purple patch or whatever. This gun is weird to aim. It's belly mounted, it's far back, it's super high velocity, it doesn't really lose speed, and together with the fact that it doesn't have tracers, so you never really know where the hell it's going, it just doesn't really help. Now, it hits hard half the time. Sometimes it does absolutely nothing, other times it will just slam someone out of the air with a singular shell, but that is basically every gun at the moment. And it's kind of annoying. Real Shadow has been kind of back, I guess. I'm not sure what to call it. That is an example for when the gun sight is pretty good. When they are like within 600 meters and, well, they're basically stalling out. But at that point you don't really need a gun sight anymore. At least with most planes. With this thing, I still use the gun sight at those speeds because I just don't know where the rounds are going. Now we missile the first guy. We're gonna go head on with the Kafir. He shoots a Python at us. And we need to be wary of him, because that's a very annoying plane to deal with. The Kafir and the Viggen are like of the same era, kind of. They are about that flight performance, not so much about the missiles. And the Kafir will absolutely rinse this thing when it comes to 1v1. So I'm just going to be ignoring him for now, and I'm going to fly towards this side of the map. Because as you notice, we have been Uptier. It is 12.0, and there are F-16s in the air, there are MiG-29s in the air, and everything is just kind of scary. And I am going to be focusing on stuff like the F-16s, because these will give me the absolute most amount of trouble in the late game. So I need this guy out of the match. FRS coming head on as well. He almost gets shit on by the F-16. I make sure that the F-16 doesn't have to pay the repair cost of the FRS. And then I make sure that I also send the F-16 back to the hangar. You need to turn your afterburner off if you want to flare AIM-9Ls. AIM-9Ls are not the top dog missiles anymore, but they are still not bad. They are extremely powerful still, at least from the rear aspect, as long as people don't really know how to flare. But I think in the future this is going to become less and less of a thing, because now people are starting to learn AIM-9Ms and R-73s. Eventually they'll probably learn about the AIM-9L as well. Here is one of the fat fingers. I didn't want to use my radar gun sight, and because it's just jittering all over the place, I missed a very easy kill. I'm gonna fly towards the other side of the map because one of my last 3 teammates is in a dogfight. He has this guy on the 6, and I need to fly in the direction of my airfield anyway. So I'm gonna be helping this guy out so we can kill this guy and kind of group up, because we need to fly in a pack if we want to win this game. Now the FRS is not bullied by me at all. He goes vertical, so we shoot him out of the air. And now we are just kind of alone on this side of the map. I have my one teammate, that's the MiG-23, that I just kind of helped, I guess. And the other guy, it just died. The MiG-21 also ripped his wings off, and he is going to be flying back to the airfield actually. And we are going to be taking off. We are now on full fuel. We are going to drop the fuel tank because, well, I need to get rid of a little bit of weight. Because we are in a 2v6, and the longevity here isn't much of an issue, because if we try to stay in the game for too long, we are gonna lose anyway. We need to be rather aggressive, so I'm gonna drop the fuel tank and just start hammering the throttle to get our weight down a little bit. Now I see a contrail in orbit, and I mean, I'm also getting locked from, it looks like 2 directions, but that means it's directly from the front. The RWR isn't fantastic on this thing, so we go head on with the Kafir. I noticed that he's pulling in last second. I'm just going to dodge. I'm not going to bother with that. And I'm just going to continue going straight. Now, if the Kafir turns around for us, it should take him a little bit to actually start reaching us, because his delta wing should lose a little bit of speed here. So I'm just going to fly away from him and climb a little bit. Now this isn't the best idea, but I need to be aggressive. And right now I am able to hopefully get a missile off on this guy. Now I'm going to shoot it straight up. J8F. Now I have him locked. He can't really contest us in this kind of head-on, but he actually dodges the Sparrow. And that is bad. That is really, really bad, because that's a plane that I wanted to get out of the game. I sacrificed a lot of speed and position to do that. And, well, I need to now dive out again. So I'm going to fly towards my MiG-23. Countermeasures is coming in. Here a missile, so I start flaring. And the Kafir again goes back to the airfield very, very early. He has ripped his wing off twice now, I am pretty sure. And the Countermeasures gets taken down by our friendly, which is absolutely terrific. So we do a little bit of a wide loop to make sure that we can come in desynchronized and we don't end up flying in the same direction. So if one of them gets on a 6, they get on both of our 6s. We want to kind of split up, but still stay near each other so we can help each other out. But flying so closely together that you can't help each other doesn't help you at all. And then the Kafir actually comes back. I thought he ripped his wing off, but he actually didn't. So we shoot a missile at him. He dodges it as well. And now we are going head on with a MiG-23 and a J8. Absolutely no idea how that missed. I think he flew between my shells. But I've been having these kind of shots all the time. Now I'm gonna fly away for a little bit to see what they are gonna be doing. And then I see that I just have to turn around. I have to take the risk. I need to keep that teammate alive. Because if I don't, this game is absolutely over. F-16 comes head on. We stay low. It's not a radar missile. So we just flare it. And now we can just continue on and help out our MiG-23. I'm gonna try to missile them both. But there's flares in the air. There's missiles in the air. I'm not gonna risk it. So I'm just instead gonna go for guns on the second guy. And I just miss. Now that's just a bad shot. I simply missed. However, the J8 is going pretty slow right now. And the F-16 is coming in. So instead of flying away from them, I'm gonna fly into them. So I can at least use the fact that the J8 is slow. And hopefully kill him in the process as we go for the F-16. Now the F-16 is gonna do the smart thing. And he is not gonna go head on. Instead, he is gonna fly directly under me. Now luckily for us, we managed to nail that. And we take his tail off. And he goes straight into the ground. But you notice the Kafir left yet again. And I think this time the Kafir actually did rip his wing off. Because there's no reason for him to leave the battle already. F-16 goes down. We now have the J8 on our 6. And we are going to be flying away from him for a little bit. Because I want him to go a little bit faster. For a very simple reason. If he goes too slow, he will stick on my 6 100% of the time. And that's something I don't want to deal with. I need to get positioned soon so that I can put him in a bad spot. And make him drain his balls. We merge, we fly up over his nose. We are merging a little bit slow, but I just want to make sure that I stay behind him. And that's exactly what we do. This guy is faster than us, but because he is in a delta wing and he doesn't hold his speed at all, we should be able to just kind of sit within a turning circle and hopefully just take him out for dinner. Again, miss a very easy shot. We are gonna go vertical. I'm just trying to stay behind him. This is a fight that I shouldn't be winning. However, because I am on his 6, we are both very slow. It's very hard for him to actually get outside of my guns. We aim it and we take him down. MiG-21 that ripped his wing off actually managed to repair. Now this guy is flying at altitude in a MiG-21, so I instantly think this guy has no idea. I'm sorry, but when I see this, I instantly know that you want to die. So I'm gonna stay on the deck. I didn't rearm and refuel because I wanted to be low fuel because it's a 2v1 against the Kafir and the MiG-21. So I want to have a little bit of flight performance here. And I still have 3 missiles anyway. So I turn my radar off. I come from below. And I just want to make sure that this guy doesn't see me. So I come in from probably the worst angle, other than maybe from the same angle, but from the sun side. We shoot the missile off. He's not looking and he just eats it. And that is kill number 9. And then the Kafir pops up. The Kafir is very strong. However, he has ripped his wing off at least once. And I wonder if he's gonna do it again. Now we are gonna merge with him. I don't want to burn too much fuel. I don't want to merge too fast because I want him to dogfight me. Because in all realities, this guy wins unless I make a play. So I try to be very aggressive and just instantly get on the 6. I hope that this guy doesn't know how to flare or that his engine is hot enough, but it's a bit of a side aspect and the missile almost does it, but last second it does go for the flare anyway. I'm just hoping at this point, because this is a fight I am not gonna be winning. Notice how he is holding his distance from me while I'm turning inside of him. This guy is going double my speed right now and I am absolutely energy trapped. So I'm trying to bait him into trying to go after me by going downwards. He doesn't take it, he does the smart thing, and he just kind of holds position and waits for me to fall into position. Now I'm gonna turn into him here. I'm gonna try to keep position. He starts turning, I'm just gonna book it. I'm gonna try to bank some speed. I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster so that I can make sure that I have the speed to actually fight him. Now we waited for that opportune moment to break off there, and that's exactly what we did. We are now faster than the Kafir because we have been accelerating. He had to do a full 360 turn and then another 180. And I just need to merge with this guy. I need this guy to get slow because I don't have any missiles left. So I'm gonna dangle my ass in front of him try to keep him as fast as possible, because I want to make him overshoot. The same thing as with the J8. Now, he comes in a bit too fast and he tries to roll after me, rolls at too much of a high speed, and he also snaps his wing off 3 times in the same game. Now, this time around it wasn't on purpose. I've done it before, but it just kind of happened this time. He played it quite well, despite the fact that he broke his wing off. The Convergence does kind of do that at higher speeds with a high load of fuel. It feels kind of random at times, but that is what you are supposed to do when you have an energy advantage. Hold your position, don't be too aggressive. You have the advantage in the airframe as well as in the position, so you don't need to rush anything. Overall, well played, absolute dumpster fire of a game. Made some mistakes here and there, didn't play it perfect, but luckily we won anyway. Thank you all for watching, and you'll see me in the next one.